Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm discussing another one of my builds, and if you're not aware of what this is a gas blowback shotgun, and I absolutely love it. Now this one again is from Tokyo Marui. I'm such a Tokyo Marui fanboy. It's pretty ridiculous. There are other replicas that I do get gas-wise, but I always, whenever I see a Tokyo Marui, am very excited to get it because I love the build quality. I love what they do. Now this, if you're not aware, you're looking at it, you're like, what is that? It's the Tokyo Marui Saiga 12 SBS. So it is a AK variant shotgun. They do actually make another one, which I also have, which I'm going to be doing another video on for you. But this actually is the short version, which is also full auto. The Saiga 12K is a longer, has a longer barrel, has kind of a longer handguard, different kind of shape. Does not have this folding stock. Well, it does have a folding stock, it just doesn't have an adjustable folding stock, and it only fires semi-auto, does not fire full auto. Anyway, this video is not about that. This is about what I have done with this, which is my SBS. This is the second one I got. I was looking at the K and I absolutely love it. So I knew that I was going to really enjoy using this. And for me, the big selling point was the length of it and also the full auto, because in a CQB environment, this thing is an absolute monster. It is something that when I've played indoor with it, and because it fires at quite a low FPS, some sites will let you use it full auto close range, and one of the sites that I do play at, which is an indoor field, does allow this to be used full auto at 5 feet, I think is kind of where they want it to be. And this is firing 3 BBs at a time. Now, there is an issue with that, which is that it actually is obviously a gas shotgun. So the magazines are not huge capacity. Now this one's 45, which is actually the magazine that normally comes with the Saiga 12K, not the actual SBS, which is this one. This one actually normally comes with a mag that is double this size, and it has 90 rounds. But when you're firing 3 rounds at a time, or 3 BBs at a time, this is only 15 trigger pulls if you're using it semi-auto, being 45 rounds. So you need to use this quite sparingly. They're big mags as well. So if you're not using this in HPA, which is another thing I'll talk about in a minute, you are having to carry probably at least 5 or 6 of these. And you're not trying to dump a load of rounds down. So weirdly, even though I got very obsessed with getting a full auto shotgun, I don't actually use it that much. And if I am using it on full auto, I'm using it sparingly. It's a very short pull on the trigger. I'm not exactly holding down and spamming the trigger to get as many rounds out as possible. So this is not stock. This is something that I've done a lot of work to. Not a lot of work. I've done quite a bit of work to the exterior, a little bit of work to the interior. But I think it's a great out-of-the-box gas blowback replica. So if you're not thinking, hey, I'm going to do a lot of changes to this, I don't think it's a big deal. I think whatever if you buy it and you just keep it as is, probably is more efficient, probably is better than what I've done to it. But I actually did not like the look of it particularly. This thing is $599. Now that is a lot of money, and it's more actually than the Saiga 12K, which is the bigger version, which I thought was quite strange. You obviously have a bigger mag with it. These are around $50. I think they sold the 90 round mag for around $75. This is $599. I think it's about $525 if you get the full 12K version. But actually what I would say is you can get these overseas and ship them probably for less money. This I believe you can get on JK Army, maybe on Octagon as well, for about $385. Now you are going to spend a lot more on shipping, but actually if you're stocking up on mags, the shipping's going to be the shipping cost, and you're going to be getting this, which is it's a fairly heavy replica, but it's not crazy. So you're paying a couple of $100s probably for the actual value, for the shipping, because it's not a lightweight replica. But I think it's probably worth it to get it from another, overseas site. The other reason being that, if you're doing that, there are a lot of upgrade parts. Not a lot, there are more and more upgrade parts that you can now get, which you could also put into the order. Now, the things that I did not like about the look of this was the stock, which is why I've changed this, the pistol grip, and actually just some of the rails and the segment and the different attachments that you put on it. So what I've actually done is I've actually kept the folding stock tube, the buffer tube which comes on here, but this normally comes with your standard M4 stock, which I didn't really like. I don't know, it just looks a bit plain to me. This is actually the Magpul version, which I've now pulled out and can't get back in. I put the Magpul OD green stock on here, which I just think looks a lot better. One thing that is quite strange with this is some of the angle of this is almost upwards. The stock tube, I don't know if I can kind of get that across on camera, but the stock tube almost angles upwards, which is kind of good just for comfort, but it does look weird. With it being a very small replica, having that foldable stock is awesome, but this is very easy to change. Any of your kind of M4AR style stocks, you can just put on here. So I would say, looking at it, you know, I don't really like the look of that much. It's very, very easy to change that out. The other thing which I thought was weird is it comes with the kind of M4AR, I think it's the A2 pistol grip, which again, I don't like. I think it's quite ugly. And it does make a Saiga, which is an AK-based shotgun, look really, really ugly to me. It's almost like turning it from a mixture of an AR, you know, with an AK. It looks really weird. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to get a Magpul, more of your, I don't know if it's an AK style, because it really isn't, but it doesn't have this extended beaver tail here, which you can't put in when you're doing this, but it does have kind of like an adapter that you can buy for it, and then you can basically put on any AR style pistol grip that you want. And obviously with the 12K, not obviously, with the 12K, that's more of your standard AK. I am going to do a video on that because, again, I've done a lot of changes on that one, but you can't be as fluid in terms of putting as many real steel parts on. You know, you can, but you're looking for AK parts, which I find are a lot harder to find in the US. Other things that I've done is you can actually, it comes with, as you can probably see here, some polymer picatinny rails, which you can attach on here. I don't really like how it feels. I actually really like just the feeling of this without those attachments on it. One thing I've actually tried to look for, which I just can't find, is kind of like an M-LOK base front foregrip for this, because actually I'd love to be able to put attachments on here. The flashlight and the tracer, sorry, the flashlight and the laser, I really would like, because it's an indoor, it's for me an indoor CQB replica. So I would love to be able to put that on here. I know you can get kind of like a barrel mount to put that on. For me, that's not, you know, it doesn't look right. I don't like how front heavy it makes it. So I'm hoping that someone will come out with that soon. But one thing as well is these are not really M-LOK slots. I thought that when I bought it, and they're polymer. And as you can maybe see here, I've kind of tried to get some attachments in there in the M-LOK style. They look like the same dimensions, but I've not been able to make that work. So just bear that in mind if you are going to buy this. Other things that I have changed on the exterior is this. Now, this is the top rail cover. You do actually get kind of like an extended, like a kind of attachment that goes on here, which has that Picatinny rail. I think it's kind of pointless in terms of a sight, because I don't really want a sight up here, even though, you know, it's perfectly usable. So I didn't want to put that up here, but you can buy this, which is a top rail cover, which basically, for an AK or one of, I think it works for either of the Saiga 12 Tokyo Marui replicas, but this is $110. It's full metal. It's a lot of money just to add on to a $600 replica when you're spending $50 a mag, but I think it really makes it a lot more usable. You do have the standard AK sight mount here, so you can just take this sight mount and then mount a kind of other sight, which will just kind of come up and over. I've got a real steel one on my other Saiga, which I'll show you in another video, as I said. But actually, when I saw this, I really just like how this just makes it super usable. And obviously, I've got a Unity riser on here. This is the PTS one, not a real one. And then I've actually got a Sig Romeo Romeo3 Max sight on here. I bought this for another replica, but it didn't actually fit on an RMR base plate, so I decided to put it on here for now. And actually, I kind of like it. I think it looks pretty cool. I'll leave that off for now. That I think, oh no, sorry, one more thing. So the charging handle is your standard charging handle that comes on this. And what I actually found from Federal Concepts is this is a polymer charging handle attachment. So basically it takes that standard hook AK and it allows you to kind of have this, which I just think looks and feels a lot more tactical. So I like that a lot, but it's a pretty easy part to get. I think it's probably about $15. Federal Concepts, I believe, is based in Europe, so the shipping, again, if you're in the US, can be quite expensive, but that is their logo there. So I got that. I really like it. So if it's something that you guys like the look of, I definitely recommend them. You can basically put them on any of your AKs. So if you have a TM-AKM, TM-AKX, I think it works for GHKs, etc. as well, but a really good attachment that actually I really like using, and because it's so light, it's really not affecting the performance of this Saiga 12 SBS. The other thing that I always do actually on all of my replicas now, every build that I've done, is you can probably see how hard this is to retract and to push into place. And the reason that is because I hate a wobbly stock. I hate a stock that is moving around and making any rattling or noise. So what I normally do and what I've done on this is I actually take, you know, if you get the kind of Velcro strips, you've got the male and the female side, or, you know, the hook and the loop side. I'll take a strip of the loop side, so the soft bit, and I will basically stick it along the top of the inside of my stock, which basically is going to kind of run along the buffer tube. Now I'll kind of not normally adjust, because once I found my position on the stock, especially if it's going to fold like this, then I don't really want to adjust it, and I'd rather kind of keep it more solid. You can adjust as I've just shown you, but that really just holds it in place. So another thing that I'd really recommend, I'll try and do a video on that, but I always actually hold this one just in the most collapsed position. So it's perfect for me. Obviously, I'm trying to keep it short because of the fact that it is such a kind of small, you know, compact replica, that I want it to run like that. Oh, another attachment that I've done is Magpul QD sling release. I actually run this as a one point sling. You can get a version of this which has a QD built into it, and it's something I've thought about replacing it with, because then I could move this Magpul QD to here, just in front of the sight, and then I could basically have that, so I could use it as a 2-point, switch it to a 1-point, because I have a sling with a Magpul slide attachment on it, so it allows me to switch between the two. Again, I'll do a video on that. Hopefully this is making sense and not too complicated. But I've got that on top of here, Unity Riser, Romeo3 Max, red dot. This is awesome. Absolutely love it. So again, it's something that I'd highly recommend. I'll try and show you guys just what that looks like through here. Again, I'm a big fan of real steel. So I'll try and get you guys. It's just the target acquisition I find on these is so much better. Where is it? I struggle now. There you go. Look at that, look how bright it is. So I really, if you can see there, it just does not distort in the edges. I've got SRO replicas before and they work fine, but the edges, kind of when the red dot is there, it just kind of, it blurs it out, which I just think looks awful, or it's really hard to actually acquire target. This, if I've got both of my eyes open, it's there, it's super bright, and there's so many points I can move my head and still see it. So if I've got iPro on, if I'm coming round corners, it's a lot easier to use this. This actually was $350, I think. So again, very expensive. Unity Tactical PTS, that is $25. So it's a replica, it's great. So if you're looking for a riser, this is the Supreme, I think, which is slightly higher. I like a high riser on my red dots, especially if it's a shotgun. So that is what I've put on it externally. I also actually have the Quark C Ace Tech Tracer, and I would say if you are using this, it's not the prettiest thing to put on here, but it is awesome. Like if you're using this in a dark environment indoors, you have that tracer on it. It's obviously tracing 3 BBs, so it is so satisfying when you hit an enemy or an opponent with 3 BBs at one time and they're all green lit up. Absolutely love it. I think that's about $125 again, so it's adding up. So expensive to be building something like this out, but it just, you unscrew this, you can basically attach that onto the end. Works on both Saigas, so, and probably a lot of other shotguns just with those wider barrels. You can see actually the 3 barrels here. So you can see the 3 BBs go out. The spread on this is really tight, so you can use this outdoors. The 12K is a lot better outdoors and seems to have a tighter grouping, just with a bit more power and range. This though, for close indoors, perfect. Absolutely love it. Obviously you've got the full auto, which just makes it, for me, a lot cooler, a lot better using tracer, full auto, 3 at a time. When I hit people with this, it's not powerful, but it is, I think it's shocking to people because you're being hit in 3 positions at one point, and this thing is super loud. So it's kind of like, wow, like the amount of like, you know, it's not just a, oh, I've been hit out. It's like a whoa, 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 ouch. Or not ouch necessarily, but it's a bit of a shock. Definitely takes people back. And if you're playing against me with this, I have a lot of people coming up to me saying like, what is that? That thing is mean. Like, you know, probably I feel a bit guilty sometimes when I hit people, especially if it's closer range. So that's what I've done, externals and attachments. The only thing actually I've done internally is I have changed the bolt, the bolt end of this, the weight. So I'll take this out and just show you this quickly. Super easy. Let me just quickly put this into position. I'm going to quickly just rack this. Sorry guys, I should have moved the action back before I did that. Really easy to take apart as I say that and I just mess it up. Really easy to take apart. I can just actually go to do that. I need to take it out of safe, that's probably why. Really easy to take apart, so you basically just taking the recoil rod and spring out. Here's the bolt, and the only other thing that I've done is I've put a slightly heavier end to this, so actually the recoil on it is just heavier. This is a different one to the 12K, and I've actually done the same with my 12K, just a longer bolt with kind of like it's more of your AK style weight to it, but I put a heavier weight on here, so it's something that for me is cool because I love the recoil and I love the sound of it, but again, completely unnecessary and probably something which is going to worsen the actual performance of it. Let me just get this in. I'll get this stuck, which is ideal. There we go, put it into the track, that's right. And then I'm going to close this. So I'm going to show you guys what this sounds like. Oh, one other thing to mention is this doesn't have a hop-up. So if you're thinking I need to upgrade the hop-up, I need to do anything like that, it's not something that you need to do. Well, you can't do it. I don't think it really needs it. I use generally 3.2s if I'm outdoors with this because it does overhop quite a bit, but you can use 2.5s, and so that's another thing that actually I think is fine because obviously you're close range. So this is the mag in here. I'm going to show you it's semi-auto first and just show you the action. You can see how fast that is, and this is full auto. So the rate of fire is not insane, but the sound of it and the clacking is absolutely amazing. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Again, I absolutely love this thing. So if you're thinking about getting it, I would highly recommend it. Hopefully you guys have found value in this, and I'll be back very shortly with another review overview of one of my builds. Thank you so much, guys. Speak to you all soon. Goodbye.